Franklin's Neighborhood by Paulette Bourgeois and Brenda Clark. Franklin's Neighborhood. Here's the title page. Franklin's Neighborhood. Franklin could count to 10 and back again and say the alphabet without stopping. He liked drawing pictures. He loved show and tell. So when Mr. Owl assigned the first project of the year, Franklin was ready. We live in a neighborhood, explained Mr. Owl, and our neighborhood is made up of houses and stores and gardens, said Snail, and a hospital, added Badger. Exactly, said Mr. Owl. Now for tomorrow, I want everyone to draw a picture of what you like best about your neighborhood. What do you like best? Asked Franklin, and Mr. Owl thought for a moment. The school, he replied, and everyone laughed. When Franklin got home, he hurried to his room. Do you want a snack? Asked his mother. Oh, no thanks, said Franklin. I have a project to do. Franklin took out his crayons and paper. Then he sat down to think. He thought about the ice cream store, then the bicycle trail, and then the soccer field. Franklin sighed. Choosing the best thing about his neighborhood was not going to be easy. Franklin went to find his mother. Could I have that snack now, please? He asked. I think my brain is hungry. But after 3 flat cookies and 2 glasses of milk, Franklin still hadn't decided what he liked best about his neighborhood. Why don't you go for a walk around the neighborhood? Suggested his mother. That might help, said Franklin. He got his paper and his crayons, and he went for a walk. Franklin met Beaver in the meadow. I finished my project, Beaver announced. I picked the library, and I went there right after school to draw my pictures. Franklin thought about story time with Mrs. Goose, the librarian. Ooh, that is a good idea. He waved goodbye and he headed for the library. Franklin was sitting on the library steps when Fox came by. Have you finished your project? Asked Fox. Franklin shook his head. I was going to draw the library, but on the way I saw the movie theater. I just can't make up my mind. I chose the fire station, said Fox. Franklin remembered the time that Chief Wolf let him sit in the fire truck. So it was a Chief Wolf. That's a good idea, Franklin said. Maybe that's what I'll draw. He collected his paper and crayons, and off he went. Franklin was outside the fire station when he saw Moose. Have you finished your project? Asked Moose. No, Franklin sighed. I was going to draw the fire station, but on the way here, I saw all the other places that I like just as much. Franklin thought about swimming and skating with his friends. Well, that's a good idea, Franklin answered. Maybe that's what I'll draw. Because Moose said that he liked the pond best. And then Franklin thought about swimming and skating on the pond, and he thought, yes, that's what I'll draw. He said goodbye, and he headed for the pond. Franklin was staring at the water when Bear came along. What's the matter? asked Bear. I can't decide what I want to draw for my project, said Franklin. I like too many things. My best place is the berry patch, said Bear. Franklin thought about all the times he and Bear had picked berries together. See, said Franklin, another great idea. What about the park? Bear suggested. Franklin thought about playing with his friends on the swings and the slide. That's it, declared Franklin. He said goodbye and he hurried off. Franklin's mother found him sitting alone on the teeter-totter. Did the walk help? She asked. Not really, said Franklin. There are so many great things in our neighborhood. Franklin's mother gave him a hug. Let's go home and talk, she said. I made your favorite supper. Franklin grinned. At least I know what that is. Franklin felt better after broccoli and soup fly pie. I'm ready to think again, he said. Then he asked his parents what they liked best about the neighborhood. Well, I like the farmer's market on Saturday morning, said Mother. Franklin smiled. He loved Farmer Rabbit's sweet peas, and Farmer Squirrel's fly brownies. And I like belonging to my chess club, said his father. And Franklin agreed. He liked belonging to the chess club, too. Then Franklin remembered something. Is it true that Mr. Heron is moving? He asked. Mr. Heron was the president of the chess club. Yes, it is true, replied Franklin's father. I'm going to miss him very much. This neighborhood will not be the same without him. Franklin nodded. He was going to miss Mr. Heron too. Suddenly, Franklin knew what he wanted to draw. I know what I want to draw, he said, and Franklin ran to his room and he began working. At school, the next day, everyone was excited. It was time to see their projects. Raccoon went first. I drew the river, he said. I drew the forest, said Hawk. Finally, it was Franklin's turn. He unrolled a huge sheet of paper. It was covered with drawings of almost everyone that Franklin knew. I don't get it, said Beaver. Franklin smiled. I drew my neighbors, he said. That's what I like best about my neighborhood. The end.